Okay, good evening to anybody that is attending. And this will also be a recording and it will be placed in one of our units coming up. So tonight's theme is going to focus on setting up a virtual party and going through some of the steps to get that started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I want to make sure it shares all of it. So hopefully, actually, let me do this first. I think if I hit this and then share, I should be good. The share part gets me sometimes. Okay, there we go. So one of the very first things you're going to do to set yourself up with a virtual party is you are going to go to your Pampered Chef webpage. Now, you might hear us refer to it as the Pampered Chef webpage or Consultant's Corner. And what we basically mean by this is you're going to log into the system under your name. So you're going to log into your account. And one of the very first things that you're going to do once you log in, you're going to set up your show. This is going to be step one for creating a virtual party. Now, there are many steps in creating a virtual party, but this is where you'll always want to start. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Parties and Orders. The next screen here, I'm going to click on New Party. And then I'm going to create my show. So the very first thing I always need to do is go through creating the show. So I'm going to pretend like this is a virtual party. So it's going to be a catalog party. Is this a virtual party? Yes. So I'm going to select my dates. I personally run my parties usually Sunday to Saturday. I'm just going to pretend like my party is going to start the 24th. And I normally don't like to run them usually this time into a new month, but just for sake of an example. Typically, I will like to do, like if I look at my February calendar, my parties would take place the 3rd through the 9th and the 17th to the 23rd. There's no right or wrong way to do virtual parties. You basically can run 24-hour ones, a 1-hour one where you go live. So it's really up to you, a 3-day one, a 5-day one, a 7-day one. I don't really recommend beyond that. So realistically, this is going to be up to you and how you want to run them. So just for an example, and in fact, actually, I'm just going to go to my normal. I'm going to put the 17th, and I'm going to put that this will go to the 23rd. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be specific, and I'm going to name the party. So I'm just going to pretend that this is Betty's Pampered Chef Party. I always like to put the name of my host, so then that way when people log in, they see Betty as the person. So I always recommend that. When it says tell us more, I don't do anything. And then I would go ahead and I would create everything that I need to do. So Betty Smith, we're going to pretend like we're just going to make up an email for sake of an example tonight. We're just going to say that her email is bsmith@yahoo.com. Her daytime phone number is 610-555-5555. She likes to use her daytime phone on invitations. Her address is 211 Yellow Road. I don't know. We're just making this up, obviously. Let's put Tamaqua, PA 18252. Now, when you're creating your show, if you need to change the show location, maybe somebody's not holding it at their house, you would go in and you would change the host address to be other if you need to put the show as somewhere else. That way, when people go to the person's link, they would see the address and where the show is taking place, and the address we listed up here is where everything will ship to. If you need to ship to a different location, maybe somebody's not going to be home, they're worried about boxes on their porch, you could also change that to other. You're only doing a co-host address if it is a cooking party and it's 2 people doing a show. So virtual parties are not designed for more than 1 person. But if you do ever need to ship to somewhere else or to host somewhere else, you could click on other. So I'm going to go ahead and create the show. Now, what's going to happen is when I create my show, did I click there? I thought I did. Maybe it's just taking a second, but normally what happens when I go to create my show, maybe my internet is not cooperating with me tonight. I thought I clicked this now for the 3rd time. We'll try it again. But basically what's going to happen is it's apparently not going to work for me. So let me just go in as an example. So normally what you would do is you would just create the show. And then when you create the show, what's going to happen is an extra tab is going to come up in the party. I have no idea why this won't let me create it though. I apologize, everybody. Okay, I don't want to waste your time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump into a different show that's already created. So basically, once you have a party and you already create it, you click on that create show part. And then all I would do is click the person, or I wouldn't even have to click them. I'm going to be into this screen. So what's going to happen is when you hit the create show, you're going to see a save button in this area. And then what you're going to do is if you scroll back up to the same page now, you're going to have these new tabs. You're going to click on the show page. And then when you click on the show page, you're going to scroll all the way down. And you're going to see the URL of the party. This does not create your virtual party. This creates the party in the Pampered Chef website. You must do this before you create the virtual party on Facebook. So this is always step one. If you are hosting 4 virtual parties, you want to create all 4 virtual parties in the Pampered Chef webpage, just like I'm doing now, before you go into step 2. Now, what I also do is put their name, like you can see Bonnie Becker is my person that's hosting. This was a generic link and I changed it to her name. I click on the word confirm and now it says that my URL is customized. So what I would do is go into the copy part of this. I copy my link and then that's when I'm going to go ahead in and I leave this screen open. Okay? So now I'm going to jump back on for a minute. I'm just going to show you what I do. I do a lot of my business primarily from my cell phone. I use an app on my phone that's called Notes. I'm not sure if you could see the yellow app there. It's called Notes. And what I do is I put my welcome message to my host and to the whole party in my notes. And I do this mostly from my cell phone. So I'll show you what I do with that. And we're going to go to step 2. So step 1 is creating that part. Now, say you're not ready to set up the Facebook part of it. That's okay. What you would do at this point then is you could always go back to the Pampered Chef webpage at any time, click on the party, and then you could find that person's link. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take you to Facebook, and I'm going to share Facebook now with you. Let me find, there we go. And we're going to set up a party. So now you're creating the Facebook link. So there's basically 2 parts to doing a virtual party before the party can actually launch. So the next part that you're going to go to is I always tell everybody click on the home tab. If you're doing it from a cell phone, when you do it from a cell phone, you're going to click, there's 3 little lines typically. When you're looking at your phone, all the way to the right, you'll see 3 little lines and then you'll have a list of options. That same list of options appears when I'm on my home page. Apparently it's not tonight. I'm not sure what's going on. Apparently technology is not on my friend tonight. Let's hope it appears now. All right, so now we're not seeing that again here. So let's try just clicking on Vanessa. Maybe it will post now. No, it's definitely on the home tab. My technology is apparently not being cooperative. Okay, so it's not showing up, but typically on this side, you will see an option for groups. So what I'm going to go on and do is I'm going to hit create up here. So this is another secondary option that if you're not seeing the list on the left-hand side like you're supposed to see, you're going to hit the button create. And when that pops up, hopefully it's going to pop up and cooperate with us, right? I am not sure why nothing wants to be my friend tonight with technology. So this is one of those things where I guess we have to troubleshoot and we all experience it from time to time. Let me try opening up a brand new page and sharing that one. So let me just jump back out. See, so this is just a prime example. Here I am training you and I'm showing you that people, anybody can be a Pampered Chef consultant because it doesn't mean that everything is always going to work perfectly because that is just not the realm of things. I have no idea why this is not showing up for me. I don't understand. I, honest to goodness, have set up. Okay, there we go. There we go. We finally have something popping up. Okay. So again, the left-hand side is not cooperating with me. So good. So you're going to go able to go to the create button. And these are the things that would actually pop up on the left-hand side anyways. Same thing on your cell phone. And you're going to click on the word group. And when you click on the word group, the box is going to pop up and it says create a new group. So right now we're just going to create, we're going to do Bonnie show only because I had her link ready. So I would put in here Bonnie Becker's, and I always try to put their first and last name, Pampered Chef Party. And then you would obviously I add myself, and then I go ahead and I add Bonnie. Okay? So those are the two things that you would plug in. I'm going to just add my husband in because I need to add somebody in order for me to go forward. Now, you could pin it to shortcuts, and what that means is that they would be the first groups that pop up for you. And when they pop up for you, you would then be able to see them. The only thing is when you add them to your pins, they're easier to find, but then you have to remember that when the party's over, to remove them from the pin. So then that way you could put new pins up for your new parties. So I do typically try to pin them only because it's easier to find. You have the option for what type of privacy. Now, some people will do it public. I will be personally honest, do not do it public, because that means every post that you post, the whole public sees, and people are going to get annoyed with you, is my personal take on it. I leave it as a closed group. I encourage my hosts, obviously, to add people to this, and that's a whole other segment. But you would do as I do it as a closed group. I just feel like then it's more personal. Only my host is inviting who they want. If their friends choose to invite more people, but we're not blowing up the newsfeed of Facebook and driving everybody nuts. So then I go ahead and I click on create. And now if you're doing this from the cell phone, it would allow you to open an image immediately. I'm not going to do it from a cell phone, so I'm just going to do it as an example here. Now, every single month, what I do is I will post usually what the guest specials are. And that's going to, again, be another area that we could access online. That will be another training segment, but you could actually get images and pictures from the Pampered Chef webpage. But right now, we usually typically will share all of these with you so you don't have to worry. So what I would basically do, and now, of course, these are on my cell phone, but I'm just going to go ahead and upload an image. And I'm probably just going to add an old one just because the fact that I want to show you how you upload your picture. So you would upload a picture. Now, you would obviously have to save the picture first. I find this part way easier to do from my cell phone, just because it's easy because I can just access my camera and it just makes it simple to add. So I'm just going to go into, I'm sure I probably have an old banner. When you add a Facebook banner, you want to make sure it's truly a Facebook banner. There are apps out there that you can utilize and make your own, but I always tell everybody, when you're just starting, do not feel like you need to be a superstar, okay? Now, this is just an example of an old one, but what I tend to do is put the guest special and host special, and usually the month. Now, of course, this is an older one when I was newer at doing the business, but then that way it's always at the forefront of everybody and they can see. So then I save that. So now it kind of appears as though we look as though we're ready for our party to be set up and ready to start. However, now you have to think to yourself, do you want to personally set, message, and put every post up that you do? Now, when you set up the virtual party, you're going to choose how often you want to post throughout a day. I'm going to do another segment for our unit on bookings that will talk about ideal times for virtual party postings and what to post. So right now, this actual video is going to focus just on primarily setting it up. So one of the things, though, I want you to think about is, do you want to do all your posting manually? Do you want to do it shorter shows? Maybe you're only posting for an hour. Maybe you only post in the evenings. That's something that you have to plan. Again, there's no right or wrong way. This is for you to decide. When you choose to have a posting third party do the posting for you. So for instance, if you work a full-time job, you're not available all the time, but you want your party to keep on going, some of us use a posting third party. I use what's called SynShare. Some people use what's called Post My Party. Some people use Facebook Scheduler. These are things that you could also post on our team webpage and ask for help and ask for support. I am not an expert, but I do have some of our leaders currently working on ways to help you and to give you ideas and training on how to access all them. I will be doing a SynShare training so that you know how to use that third party. Now, when you use a third party app, one of the things that you need to keep in mind is you're going to need to pay for it. On average, it's $10 a month. And if you're doing anywhere from basically 4 parties up, it's, to me, it's very well worth $10 a month because you're going to be able to preset all your stuff. Now, here is the key though, because in order for any outside agency to do our posting for us, we have to click on this tab that says more. you're going to click on what's called Edit Group Settings, because what you have to do for every party is add that third party as an app to your group. So when I hit that, so again, you hit More, you hit Edit Settings, you're going to scroll down to where it says Add Apps. Now, this sometimes will tend to take a couple extra minutes, and when you add your apps, one of the things you want to keep in mind is you need to make sure you do this. If you do not do this, none of your third-party websites are going to be able to post or do anything for you. So that's just something to keep in mind. So what I do is I add my SynShare program as my app into this party. You'll see that I'm under Bonnie Becker's party because the whole time I'm focusing just on her party. Now, you'll notice I did the Pampered Chef webpage link. Now I'm on the Facebook. So I'm going to be jumping between these two till I get everything going. You will do this for every party. It may seem like it's very monotonous and takes time, but I can assure you that when you do this and you continuously do this, you get super duper fast. This is the longest part, is adding this party app to it. Most of the time I could set up a party, add this, and I even schedule all of my posts from my SynShare program and be done in 15 minutes. So you have to keep in mind when you're new, when you're learning this, it's going to take you more time than once you become a seasoned person doing this. Now, my technology, of course, is really just loving me today. So I do apologize. It does not typically take this long. Of course, it is loading, but I'm not sure what's taking so long. So we're going to let it go for another minute or two. So again, the party URL, we didn't even add that to Bonnie's Facebook group party yet. All we're going to do right now is worry about adding that third-party app, and then I'll show you how to do the welcome. Now, if you're doing this on a cell phone, I honestly, oh, here we go. All right, and then I'll explain the next part that I was going to say now. So what I do is I type in the word Cinch, and it usually will start to pop up, and you'll see that SynShare is a third-party app. Add app to this group. I click on the word add, and then you're going to see that app appear all under Bonnie's party. And you must do this in order for that third party to do the posting for you. Now, you could get fancy and change the color parties and add stuff. I'm going to tell you flat out, I am very simplistic. I create the party, I add the app, I add my picture for my Facebook cover, I click on save. The only last part that I have that I do next, and I'm going to actually send it to myself quickly through email so I can show it to you. I do all the same posts. This is the same post I've used for years. I go in and I edit everything. I do this usually from my cell phone because I personally feel like it's much faster for me than doing it on my laptop. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's our internet or if my laptop is just ancient now, but I feel it's way faster to do it this way. So that's all I do. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to email it to myself just so you can see exactly what it is that I do and that I post. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share a different screen for just 1 minute. I'm going to go to my email screen. So let me just make sure that you could see this. So I do apologize. Sometimes I worry things are not going to work, so I always want to make sure I'm sharing it as it should. So bear with me here. We're going to share our new screen, which is my email. And when I go into this, I have a Gmail account, which is really good for creating documents as well. So this is the note that I normally just save into my notes on my cell phone. And it's a welcome message. And this is the part that I'm going to actually plug into my Facebook about description, which I'll show you how to do also in just a second here. It must be the storms coming our way that my internet's like snail speed here tonight. So while this starts to load, I'm just going to start to read to you basically. Oh, here we go. Maybe it's going to open. Maybe it's not. I have to chuckle because this obviously shows you that anybody can do this, right? Okay, here it is. All right, so this is the part I have. So basically what it says is, welcome to Lisa's Pampered Chef Party. It goes through how to leave the group. The online catalog is the fall one, so when this switches to the spring, I have to update this. So this message you all could actually keep and save. You don't have to edit this. The part that you're going to go in and edit is the host name. The other part that you're going to go in and edit is the closing date of the party. And then remember how we were on the Pampered Chef webpage and we made that URL for Bonnie's party? So this is where Bonnie's party was on the Pampered Chef webpage. I scroll down to where I confirmed it. I copy hers again. Or actually, I apologize. I'm going to actually copy my message first. Let's do that first. So let me go in here. So I have my whole message. I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to give this to every one of you. The only thing you need to do is edit those parts. So you're going to edit the name of the person. You're going to edit the closing date of the party. Oh my gosh. See this? Can you see why I don't use my laptop? I seriously think it's my laptop, everybody. So you know what? I'm going to make my life really super easy because I'm going to show you. I'm going to quickly just change this, and I'll pull it up on the party. And what I'm going to do, oh wait, maybe it's going to let me now. Anyways, I'm going to go back to the, oh, now of course it wants to work. Ah. All right. So now we're going to jump back to Facebook. And I'm going to go into what's called the About section of the party. And when I go into the About section of this party, again, I just want to make sure this is sharing. I had some issues when I was making videos, and I keep making like 20 different videos because I feel like it's not sharing properly. So I just want to make sure it's all sharing for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and reshare this for you. All right, so now we're back in the party. And honestly, it seems like it's more work, but it's only because it's the beginning and I'm just explaining it to you step by step. So you're going to click on the About, and then I'm going to post the description into this section. This will stay in the About section the entire party. So what I do is on this section, this is where I would go in, and I just copied and paste this. So I change about Bonnie's party. The catalog is okay. I changed the closing date, and we said her closing date was going to be the 23rd of this week. And then I would change her URL, which is from the Pampered Chef webpage. So I jump back to the Pampered Chef webpage. I copy her email or her URL. I click on paste. And then when you start, you're going to scroll all the way down. And you're going to obviously change your phone number and email, because unless you want Vanessa Boyle to get all your business, you want to make sure this is your information. Now, the first time that you put this in the system onto the party, it will create new activity and it will stay as a page. What you can do with this is click to the right, and you could do this as a mark as an announcement. And then what that means is that this is the first thing everybody will see every day when they log on to the party page. And then that way they always can find the online link to view it as an online view, and they could find the shopping link. In addition to this, you always want to make sure you do a copy and paste of the URL shopping link and make sure your host has this. This is going to be very important because you want your host to pass along this link so that they can shop. So this is basically how you get started with a virtual party. The posting and getting the third-party app is going to obviously be something additional. So that will be another video in the unit that I'm working on for you. I just want to thank you all so much for taking the time and patience with me as I develop our unit. I really feel it's vital right now to have all the key components step by step for you to prepare you for your business. So I am working diligently at nights and trying to put this all together. But this is basically the basics of setting up a party. Again, this is something you could do from another device if you would like to. I will tell you, you will spend the most time learning to do this your first 30 to 60 days. Once you do this and you have it under wraps and you know how to do it, then that's all you need to worry about doing. It's easy from that point forward. Now, the only other part that's very important for you to know to getting your party set up is we invited our host. This section where it says invite members, or on a cell phone or device, it may say add members. Your host is going to want to go in and add people. It's very important that they don't just click through and add 700 people, because it could put them into what's called Facebook jail. So I tell people the ideal amount of people to add is 50 to 100. And I don't personally like them to invite more because I really just feel like it's so impersonal. I really have found that my party's between 50 and 75. And then what I do is I make a little picture that will be in one of the videos coming up in the unit. And an image will be posted as an example. I use an app, and that's on my cell phone. And you could use what's called Pic Collage, or you could use what's called Canva. Both of those allow you to create a little image. Now, if you want, you could just have your host send out the link. That could be a great way for your host to let everybody know, because that URL link is going to have their opening date, the closing date, and the shopping link. So you really don't have to create an image. I do it to make it more like a personal invite, because I'm all about building relationships and making things as personal as you possibly can. So they're going to go ahead and invite people here. So basically all you're going to do is on the web page, set up your party, change your URL. That's all you're doing. You come onto Facebook, you create the party as a group, go ahead, you add any third-party apps if you wanted to use a third-party app, you put your about section in, you add your Facebook cover, and then you have your host add your images. Now, we will be talking with host coaching, how to add more people, how to get more people engaged coming up. But this tonight is all I'm going to focus on for you, the basics of setting up a party. So if you have a party scheduled, which by now you should have at least 2 parties scheduled and working to finish up and have at least 2 to 3 more bookings on your calendar within the next day or 2. So that way we can get your parties going, and if you need my assistance. So what I want you to do now is you're going to work on creating your party on Pampered Chef on your Consultants Corner, and you're going to work on developing your groups. If you are looking for a Facebook cover image, you could go onto our Team Boyle page. We have a team member, Connie Smith, who is phenomenal. She always shares and posts those every month. So if you go into the pictures on the Facebook team page, you will be able to access some of those images for each month. So thank you so much for joining me with setting up your virtual party. Now, there are other parts that you can do. I'm just going to stop sharing this for a minute. There are other people that truly do use other, might use the Post My Parties. Some people might use what's called Squee. I am only versed in SynShare and Facebook. That's the 2 programs that I use most. And just don't overwhelm yourself. Start with the basics, and then you'll be able to go on to the next couple of videos that we'll be posting later this evening for you between today and tomorrow, and then that will take you through the next step of everything. All right, so thank you for joining me tonight. There will be more of a description also on this unit that will detail this again and the steps for you, so you can also refer back to it or watch the video again. All right, everybody, have a wonderful time. Have a good night.